Ready to break free from fear's icy grip? Let's dive right into 5 groundbreaking techniques guaranteed to help you conquer your fears. These are not just any techniques, they're practical, effective strategies designed to flip the script on fear and turn it from an obstacle into your stepping stone. Fear is a universal experience, as common as the air we breathe, and yet it's capable of holding us from reaching our fullest potential. So, we're about to embark on an exciting journey into the heart of fear, illuminating its darkest corners, unraveling its secrets, and ultimately, arming you with the necessary tools to overcome it. So, are you ready to take control of your fear, to shatter its chains and step into your potential? Brace yourself as we delve into these dynamic, fear-busting techniques. Firstly, it's essential to understand what fear is and why we experience it. Fear, in its most primal form, is a survival mechanism. It's that jolt of adrenaline that gets your heart racing when you suddenly find yourself face to face with a grizzly bear. It's the instinct that tells you to step back when you're teetering too close to a cliff's edge. Fear is there to protect us, to keep us safe, to ensure our survival. But sometimes, fear doesn't play by the rules. It starts to seep into every corner of our lives, whispering warnings of dangers that don't exist, painting pictures of disasters that will never happen. This is when fear stops being helpful and starts being debilitating. It's like a fire alarm that won't stop ringing, even when there's no smoke. This kind of fear keeps us locked in our comfort zones, afraid to take risks, to try new things, to chase after our dreams. It convinces us that failure is a foregone conclusion, that rejection is inevitable, that disappointment is just around the corner. It tells us no when we want to say yes, stop when we want to keep going, hide when we want to stand out. But here's the thing, fear is not the enemy. It's not something to be vanquished or eradicated. It's simply a part of us, a piece of our evolutionary puzzle. And just like any other part, it can be understood, managed, and even harnessed to our advantage. You see, fear is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that we're alive, that we're human. It's a sign that we care about something, that something matters to us. And that's something to be celebrated, not shamed. So, if you're feeling afraid, don't beat yourself up. Don't try to suppress it or pretend it's not there. Instead, acknowledge it, understand it, embrace it. Because once you do, you'll find that fear loses much of its power. It becomes less of a monster in the closet and more of a friend who's just a little overprotective. Understanding fear is the first step towards overcoming it. Let's move on to the practical techniques. Tip number 1, acknowledge your fear. Here's the thing about fear. It's normal. It's a part of being human. You see, fear is not something to be swept under the rug or hidden away in the darkest corners of your mind. It's not something to be ashamed of or to be battled with. Instead, fear is something to be acknowledged, to be understood. Accepting fear doesn't mean that you're weak or that you've given in. Quite the opposite, actually. Acceptance is a display of strength and courage. It's about taking the reins and saying, yes, I'm afraid, but that fear doesn't define me. When you acknowledge your fear, you're giving yourself the power to deal with it. You're allowing yourself to grow, to learn, and to overcome. You're opening up a dialogue with yourself, a conversation about your fears and how to face them. Remember, acknowledging fear is the first step towards conquering it. Tip number 2, visualize overcoming your fear. Visualization is the art of creating mental images or scenarios that depict what you want to happen in your life. It's like a rehearsal, but in your mind. You see, our brains are incredibly powerful. They can't tell the difference between a real event and an imagined one. So, let's say you're scared of public speaking. You'd start by visualizing yourself standing on a stage, maybe in front of your friends, family, or colleagues. You imagine yourself confidently delivering your speech, your words flowing effortlessly, your audience engaged and responsive. You even visualize the applause at the end, the sense of accomplishment and relief washing over you. The trick is to make this mental rehearsal as vivid and detailed as possible. The more real it feels, the more your brain believes it. And the more your brain believes it, the less intimidating the actual event becomes. Visualization can be a powerful tool in your fear-conquering arsenal. Use it wisely. Tip number 3, use positive affirmations. These are powerful tools that can dramatically shift your mindset and diminish fear. Positive affirmations are statements that we tell ourselves in order to spark self-change. They replace our negative self-talk with words of power and self-love. Take a moment to think about the fears that trouble you. Now let's transform those fears into positive affirmations. If you're afraid of failure, your affirmation could be, I am capable and resilient. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. If you're scared of rejection, you could say, "I am worthy of love and acceptance just as I am." And if you dread change, your positive affirmation could be, "I embrace change. It leads to new beginnings and exciting opportunities." Remember, it's essential to repeat your positive affirmations daily. Feel them, believe in them. You'll soon notice a significant shift in your mindset and a reduction in your fear levels. Repeat positive affirmations daily, and you'll see a significant change in your fear levels. Tip number 4, practice breathing techniques. Now you might be thinking, how can something as simple as breathing help me overcome fear? Well, the answer lies in the power of the breath to calm our minds and bodies. When we're afraid, our breathing can become quick and shallow, which can, in turn, amplify feelings of fear and anxiety. But by consciously controlling our breath, we can help to reverse this process, slowing our heart rate and relaxing our muscles. This can create a sense of calm and control, making our fears feel more manageable. So let's dive into a simple breathing exercise you can try right at home. This technique is called the 4-7-8 method. Here's how it works. First, exhale completely through your mouth, making a whoosh sound. Then, close your mouth and inhale quietly through your nose to a mental count of 4. Hold your breath for a count of 7. And finally, exhale completely through your mouth, making a whoosh sound to a count of 8. This completes 1 breath. Now inhale again, and repeat the cycle 3 more times for a total of 4 breaths. The absolute time you spend on each phase is not important. The ratio of 4-7-8 is what matters, so if you have trouble holding your breath, speed the exercise up, but keep to the ratio of 4-7-8 for the 3 phases. With practice, you can slow it all down and get used to inhaling and exhaling more and more deeply. This exercise is a natural tranquilizer for the nervous system. Unlike tranquilizing drugs, which are often effective when you first take them but then lose their power over time, this exercise is subtle when you first try it, but gains in power with repetition and practice. Breathing techniques can be a game changer when it comes to managing fear. Give them a try. Tip number 5, don't hesitate to seek professional help. This is crucial. If fear becomes a constant, overwhelming force that interferes with your daily life, it's time to reach out. There's a whole world of trained professionals out there, from therapists to counselors, who are equipped with the tools and knowledge to help you navigate through your fears. It's important to know that seeking help isn't a sign of weakness, but rather, it's a sign of strength. It takes courage to acknowledge that you're struggling, and to take steps to improve your situation. It's a proactive move, a decision to take control of your life. Therapy can provide you with strategies and techniques to manage your fears, and a safe space to explore and understand them. Moreover, it can help you recognize triggers and develop coping skills. Remember, it's okay to seek help. You don't have to face your fears alone. So those were the 5 tips to help you conquer your fears. We began by understanding fear and how it can both protect us and hold us back. Then, we learned to acknowledge our fears, not run from them, but face them head on. Visualization came next, using our mind's eye to imagine ourselves overcoming our fears. We then moved on to positive affirmations, the power of uplifting ourselves through positive self-talk. The 4th tip was about breathing techniques, teaching us how to control our physical response to fear. Finally, we talked about seeking professional help, reminding us that it's okay to reach out when we need it. These techniques are not a one-size-fits-all solution, but they serve a guide. By implementing these strategies in your life, you can start to gain control over your fears. Remember, overcoming fear is a journey, not a destination. Keep trying, keep growing, and keep conquering your fears. Don't forget to subscribe for more tips and techniques to conquer your fears and live your best life.